What is going on, my Ghost Squad, and to the CloverTac crew? Welcome to the train wreck that is the Ghost and Clover Podcast. This is episode number 7. We are coming to you live on YouTube, and you'll be able to listen to it all over mine and Clover's podcast platforms in the next coming day or two. If you're out there in the chat, make sure you say something. We don't know that you're out there. We'll accept questions out there. We'll accept some comments out there. More importantly, we'll accept anything, because if you guys are familiar with the show, the third and final segment of this podcast is a viewer-driven. A live viewer can pick the final topic. We'll do a random draw, and if you get chosen, you get to pick the random topic. Now, obviously, there'll be a couple things that we're going to stay away from, but most of it, 99% of it, we are going to take it as it runs. If you're new to this podcast, then obviously you don't know the format. This format's pretty laid back. It's a pretty fun one. We have, I'll have a topic, Clover will have a topic, and obviously the viewer-driven topic, the random topic. But we talk about it for 10 or 15 minutes, but each of us don't know what the topics are going to be. Clover's going to have the first topic tonight, and I have no idea what he's going to talk about. It could be anything. And knowing Clover's sick, demented mind, it could really be anything. And then I'll have a topic, and then we'll go with a random topic from the viewers. This podcast is sponsored by our good friends at EAA, the European American Armory. You guys know them very well if you're familiar with either mine or Clover's channels. They came out last year with they had a hot release on the MC P35, which is the high power. It blew up like pancakes. They announced the Witness 2311 and SHOT Show this year, and it'll be coming out here anytime soon. And then at NRAM this year in April, they released the MC14T, the tip-up barrel, which very well could be and probably should be the handgun of the year. Just my personal opinion. I think anyone that's been around it would also admit that it's a fantastic firearm. EAA is doing some great things. Go check them out over eaacorp.com. Once again, this train wreck is going to be fun. I am your conductor. I am your tour guide tonight. My name is Trey with Ghost Tactical, and we're going to bring in our good buddy Chris from CloverTac. What's up, homie?
Yo, man. Present
and accounted for. No, so we don't need to call out for Bueller tonight. No Bueller.
Right? Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, we are. Just to tack on to that. Ghost is, of course, a member of Self-Defense Radio Network. I am a member of the Firearms Radio Network, and we're both a member of the newest network on the block, the Rapid Fire Radio Network. And I always like to give a shout out to Cape Gunworks. Go check them out if you get a chance, and tell them thanks for kicking off that network.
Yeah, they've got a lot of cool stuff over there. We don't have any discount codes for you guys. We're not, so Cape Gunworks is a great place. They already have really, really solid deals. Go check them out. Good, solid people up there in the land of Massachusetts. So, yeah. You been doing all right, man? You got a good weekend?
Yeah, not bad. Got some stuff accomplished anyway, I will say.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, a lot of work out and around the property and stuff like that, especially yesterday. I was pretty tired when I went to bed last night. So,
well, that's
got a good workout.
You go to bed as if you're really tired,
Yeah, trip to the hardware store turned into a whole lot of work. So,
well, it is what it is. I got the lawn mowed this afternoon, and yeah, looking forward to it. Let's real quick. Let's run through out there. If you're listening to this in the podcast form, fantastic. Let us know. The conversation doesn't have to stop here. Utilize that comment section and give us some ideas. Tell us what you think of the podcast. And if you have any ideas for topics, go ahead and throw them out there. You never know if we use them or not. More importantly, if you've got topic ideas, join us for the live, and you might get chosen to have us do it live. So we got our good buddy Chase out there. Chase is not only a great friend of ours, but he is with EAA, so it's nice to see him out there. He just says, yo. Gort's out there reloading from the hot pot. Weston Propes. Giovanni is out there. She Fires, our Tack and Daughters is out there. So, like I said, if you're out there, go ahead and say something. We don't know that you're out there unless you do. I first want to start off before we jump into Clover's first topic. I do want to say thank you to all of my patrons, all my YouTube channel members, all of Clover's patrons, all of his YouTube members, and everyone that shops in our stores and visits our websites, watches our stuff, likes us, likes our videos, shares, all of that. Any way and every way that you can support either one of us. We truly do appreciate that. We do ask you as well to support our sponsors as well. And most of you guys are familiar with our sponsors. Obviously, our spotlight and our powered by sponsor is EAA, and you guys are well aware of what EAA is doing. So Chase is out there, says you should tell everyone that this channel and chat exists. Yeah, this is true. If you're watching over there on the Ghost and Clover channel, that's great, because as soon as this goes off air, we will take this off of each one of our individual channels, and the only place to watch this will be on the Ghost and Clover channel. Eventually, guys, we are going to phase into only the Ghost and Clover channel. So make sure that you're subscribed to the Ghost and Clover. It's just literally Ghost, the and sign, Clover. It's pretty simple. You guys can find us out there. But yeah, thanks for supporting us as well as always, and thank you for supporting our sponsors. If you get a chance when you're on Instagram or anywhere, even drop them an email or whatever, just say thanks for sponsoring Ghost and Clover and all of that. They're great people, and they don't have to do this. And why they decided to sponsor this with us too, Clover, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a mystery. I don't pick at scabs.
Yeah. Well,
or pull at threads, however you want to put it.
Oh, pulling at threads. See, picking at scabs for sure. No. The OCD in me, yeah, I can't let me a thread pass by. I'm gonna have to pull that thing. After about 6 inches of it coming out, then I'll get my lighter out and do that. But if there's a thread sticking out, my weird mind won't let me just jump past it. Right. All right, my man, you've got the first topic tonight. So the floor is yours. I will yield to the representative, the great man from Texas.
Wow. So, yeah, my trip to the hardware store yesterday, and I want to make this my segment tool time. Yeah, I got not that long ago, I got this weedless, cordless weed eater from Skill.
A weedless weed eater?
A weedless cord eater. Yeah. And that's kind of what it is. It kind of is a weedless. It don't have any weeds, and it definitely eats cord. So, yeah, either way. But yeah, I did quite a bit of research on that. I don't know if anybody out there else, if you do that or not when you're looking at things. And it was definitely in the top 3 that I was looking at, and just happened to be on sale. So I went with it. And so far, I've been really happy with it. But I've had, there's folks out there that aren't into tools at all. There's folks that, maybe there was a point in my life when, tools were my livelihood, working with them. And when that was the case, there was a lot of Snap-on, a lot of Blue Point, a lot of Matco, a lot of Mac tools. And spent a few years or whatever working at Sears, and because of the discount and other things, there was a lot of Craftsman. But nowadays, Craftsman is owned by Stanley. There's really no more Sears, and Craftsman is in Lowe's now. But Lowe's has got their own line, the Cobalt stuff, which I think is pretty solid. And just wanted to kind of have some tool talk about various tools and various brands that people use and trust, or if you even care. The biggest thing, I think you could shop you will go into like a Walmart, right, and go down the tool aisle at Walmart, and all the cheap tools are on the bottom shelf. I'm sure you've seen them, the 97-cent pair of pliers, or the 97-cent screwdriver, or whatever it is. And I think for the vast majority of people, just a little simple home repair, not using things every day, those work. And then you go from from your general tools, your screwdrivers, your pliers, your hammers, your
Yeah.
things of that nature, and we delve into potentially specialty tools, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
the cordless weed eater, like power tools, like pneumatic tools.
Well, I'll
Um,
even say like for firearms, like the real avid stuff, because that's
that's
not
yeah,
just for firearms. They start out as a
yeah,
car thing. So real avid's
yeah.
got some stuff you can use every day.
Yeah, there's if you go into an auto parts store, right?
Yep.
Gunsmithing definitely is a thing. You go into an auto parts store, they've got a whole section of tools specifically for certain, automotive applications and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I would even call scanners, and stuff tools.
Oh, sure.
They're
Yeah.
diagnostic tools, but tools, not hand tools, but tools, none the same.
Yeah, and with way the car business, let's just talk cars for a second, but the way the car business is, and I think other things are like it, but each manufacturer now have their own tools that only work on their vehicles. So now you're having to buy tools that are specific to brands, and it's kind of interesting that way. I know that you bought the cordless weed eater. We were looking at some cordless different stuff with maybe blowers and weed eaters and stuff like that.
Whoa. I
Hello?
think, yeah, you're back.
What happened?
I don't know. You said
Oh,
you were looking at some cordless weed eaters and stuff like that, or
oh,
something, or
yeah,
cordless
we're
weed
looking at
blowers.
cordless weed eaters and cordless blowers and all that. And basically, I was asking you, like, how is on your cordless weed eater?
Uh-huh.
How is the battery life on that?
Okay, so yeah, it's okay. I'll say that. Batteries, and it's a whole other thing. And I've been in and around tech and stuff pretty much my entire life. Spent 20 years in that sector, owning a business. And what I've learned, and especially with lithium ion, um, is that there is a certain way that you need to utilize your batteries in order for them to perform to their max. And part of that is if you start to use your battery power, first of all, to use it. Don't charge it and throw it up and then not ever turn it on or use that particular battery for something.
Yeah,
So use cycle time, right?
yeah,
Helps keep the cells, helps keeps everything fresh and going. And then the second thing is if you use it, run it nearly down, and then before you stick it back on the charger, don't run it halfway or three quarters and then throw it back on the charger. Go ahead and use it and use it. So in that capacity, this one works good. Now this is only I'm trying to think. I think it's like a 2.5 milliamp hour. It's the smaller battery. Obviously, the one it came with is a smaller battery, and they do have larger capacity batteries.
yeah.
And eventually, once I find some of those on sale, it's what they call the Skill Power Core 40 system line of tools and stuff. And as I run across some of the larger capacity batteries that are on sale, I'm probably gonna get some. But I can go, probably 30 in between 30 and 45 minutes, something like that.
Like straight use.
Um, Straight use. Yeah, pretty much
Nice,
straight use.
nice.
And then the charging system, I thought, well, this is a bunch of crap. It's in the box. It'll charge in 15 minutes. And I'm like, there ain't no way. But it does. I mean, I wouldn't say 15 minutes, but I mean, 20-ish for sure.
It's not bad.
So, by the time you're out in the Texas heat, and you're slinging a weed eater for, 30, 45 minutes, and it's time to get a drink of water, go to the bathroom, have a smoke. As long as I throw that battery on the charger, right?
Yep.
By the time I get done with that, it's charged. So, and
Nice.
just get after it again.
So you said you went with the steel model.
Skill.
Oh, skill. Okay.
Skill. Yes.
Yeah. So I skill saws are great. At the golf course, we use a lot of steel, STIHL. I
Oh,
think that's
Steel's nice stuff. I actually looked at yesterday in the hardware store, I went to. They're a steel dealer. Steel,
yeah.
STIHL. Um, they're a dealer, and I looked at their cordless, but it was 3 times the price of the one I bought too. So,
All the
price.
stuff we use is gas. We don't have
Yeah,
the battery power because
yeah.
the guys will be on the golf course for 6-7 hours, and
Right.
unless we have like 3 people going, so we'd have to have a ton of batteries. So it's all gas weed
Yeah.
eaters and backpack blowers and all that. But we're very I'm very pleased with them. We had those for a while.
Yeah. I've owned a steel chainsaw in the past. I've owned a couple of steel weed eaters, gasoline weed eaters in the past. And if I was going to go that route with a weed eater, I would probably lean steel, to be quite honest with you. I
Yeah,
would, but no more than I do anymore. Um, we push mow an awful lot, so we can get really close to things anyway with that.
yeah.
Um, and so it's just because of the different things we've got to go in and under and around and everything else. It
Mhm.
takes just as long with a riding lawnmower. The only difference is you're not walking it.
Yeah,
But you got to back up and hit it again and back up and go around, and it's just weird things, and you can't get that close. But
yeah,
so yeah, using the big wheel, push mowers, we could get real close. So, I don't have, need for anything super heavy duty.
yeah.
Um, Good is good enough. And so far I've been pleased with it. I mean, I think it was good value. I don't know that it would have been good value at the full price, but at the sale price I got it at,
Sure.
it was,
Yeah.
I think it was a pretty good value.
Yeah, I run here at the house. I run a Troy built riding mower, and I've got a Husqvarna
Mhm.
push mower for cleanup stuff, and then my weed eater and blower are steels.
Yeah.
Now I will say this about steel: they are phenomenal, but they are going to be more for the average homeowner. It may just be not worth it because they're pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah.
They're usually for commercial or for lawn services, golf courses, that kind of thing, especially the gas size. I can't speak of the the battery powered
Right.
cordless stuff, but I really do enjoy steel. I've had this Troy built riding mower now for, I don't know, this is my third summer with it, no problems whatsoever.
Right.
um, in Husqvarna, and I love Husqvarna. They're really really good. But yeah, I mean, as far as the yard stuff, I guess I kind of choose steel because that's what we have at the golf course, and I know that
Yeah.
it works.
Hmm.
Now I have been noticing, especially like drills and all of that stuff, like the battery powered drill sets and all that.
Hmm.
A company, I think it's either I can't remember if it's at Lowe's or Home Depot. I want to say it's Home Depot, but I don't know if this is like a Home Depot brand or not. But Ryobi, Ryobi,
Ryobi, yeah, yeah. I've got a
really.
Ryobi finish nailer, cordless
Okay,
finish
I was going
nailer.
to ask you if you've ever worked with those because they're really really popular around here,
Yeah,
um, and
Ryobi's
everyone I've
solid stuff.
talked to says they like them, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So what do you think of them?
It's Ryobi is not. I don't think Ryobi, and chime in out there in the chat or in replay, in a comment below. I don't think Ryobi is a house brand, but I think it's kind of exclusive to Home Depot. You can get it other places online and other stores, but I don't ever remember seeing. I'm a Lowe's shopper just because it's closer, and I've got kind of some boycott issues with Home Depot.
I hear
Um,
you. I hear you.
not pushing that on anybody else. That's my choice. But I don't know that I've ever seen Ryobi in Lowe's. So that's why I say
Okay,
that.
so yeah, I can't remember which one it was,
Yeah.
but I know that they're
But
all
solid,
over.
yeah, solid stuff. Been solid for
Yeah.
years. I mean, it's a
Now
good
a lot of
choice.
people up there are talking about the Makita stuff,
Yeah,
and some
yeah,
good stuff.
Wes was out there, was looking. He said most of my outdoor power tools and stuff are Makita 18 bolt, weed eater drill, blowers, chainsaws, etc. My dad is a huge Makita fan and has been for
Yep.
years. Makita and Milwaukee, but more so Makita. And I'll tell you another one. When you're talking about um, that I really liked back in the day, and I had a 8 piece, 7 piece, something. I think it was an 18 bolt cordless set. Way back in the day, I think I got it for Christmas. All the stuff in the bag and
Oh
whatever.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And that was Porter Cable.
Well,
Was
I've
a
never used those.
Yeah,
So
was a pretty solid set. Now, um, who was it out there? There was somebody out there in the chat. It was Gort that said the Ego or the EGO. I mean, I don't know even how it's pronounced, but I've seen
yeah, I
that
don't
stuff
know.
around. He said the Ego brand cordless weed eaters battery life is very good, and that was one of the ones, Gort, that was in my top three.
Yeah.
But it was not on sale. It was over twice the price of the skill, and so I opted to. But it wasn't in the top three. It was definitely in the running. So
Yeah.
I've no doubt what he's saying about that is true. That is a good brand of tool.
Yeah. Now, Wes out there says Ryobi is owned by TTI, the same company that owns Milwaukee and Rigid and Hart.
There you
TTI
go.
owns the rights to those brands, but Home Depot has the exclusive rights to sell. So
There you go. I
there you
knew
go.
that's what I thought. And that's interesting because he brings up Hart. Hart is sold at Walmart.
Yep.
And my son-in-law has a bunch of Hart stuff, and it seems to be pretty solid. So that's interesting to know that that's essentially Ryobi or Milwaukee. It's like
Right.
that's
You
neat to
know,
know.
like some of like the just the basic kind of tool sets and all that, little small ratchet sets and all that stuff you can maybe put in your car or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, I think I've got a bunch of the Heart stuff, and I don't use it a ton, but I know that if it's there, it will work. So
Yeah.
that's to know that it's in Milwaukee, because Milwaukee is been around forever, and it's really really good stuff. So
Now, Steve out there, I don't know if he's being funny or what, says, did
yeah.
anybody still make push mowers? And good
Oh yeah.
Lord, man, push mowers are everywhere, bro. Like, there's no need, especially if now that's not the case with me. Obviously, I live out in the sticks, but if you live in town and all you got's a little front lawn and a little back lawn,
Yeah.
you don't need anything, but you don't even need a big wheel at that point. Just a little,
Yep.
maybe $150 push mower would get you done for that.
Yeah, they and I tell you what, a friend of mine does have an electric or battery powered push mower, and like he's kind of what you're talking about. He's got just a little portion of land or yard in the front, maybe a little bit on the side, and maybe a little bit in the back and all that. So it's not having to mow a lot, but he says it's wonderful because it's silent. He can go out there at 6 o'clock in the morning and mow if he wants,
Yeah.
and not wake up and upset the neighbors and all of that. And I don't, like I said, I don't know exactly what it is, but it works on one charge. So
Yeah.
I think the battery powered or the electric, the EV, whatever you want to go, the electric mowers and blowers and all that stuff. I think that the tools being the battery power kind of just prove that the technology works. And I think in the next couple of years, I would say that you'll see most of the weed eaters and blowers and mowers probably go battery powered. I think it's
Yeah.
a little more efficient and all that. And like you said, you can share these batteries between all three. If you've got a blower, a weed eater, and a mower, chances are
Yeah.
from the same brand, those batteries are going to cross all of them.
Yeah, the thing about electric, and especially if you're talking about a mower or a weed eater or a chainsaw or something like that, is with electric, you don't have the gear lag,
Yep.
and the torque is amazing.
And you
And
don't
when you're
have to worry
talking
about
about
oil and all of that, changing out filters and everything else.
this is true, easier to own, but just the power you get from them,
Yeah.
you really got no
Oh,
loss with electric. Where and that's important if you're cutting through stuff or cutting stuff. That power is important. Now we
absolutely.
had we got to move along here in a minute, but we got
Yeah.
James that said he says out there we use cobalt at the golf cart shop
Yeah.
that he works at, and yeah, I mean getting into just regular hand tools and things like that. I'm looking at a set of cobalt wrenches over there on my reloading bench right now,
Yeah.
so I really like cobalt. And I'll tell you another thing, just real quickly before we switch gears. We were talking about like the auto parts stores and stuff earlier, and AutoZone sells, as far as wrenches, ratchets, and things like that. They sell a brand called Duralast,
Uh-huh.
and I've got several sets. And when those go on sale, keep an eye at your local AutoZone if you're looking for a decent set to throw in the truck or the boat or the quad or whatever. 3/4 inch sockets or whatever it might be. Keep an eye out. When they run sales, that is an excellent buy for those Duralast tools at AutoZone. I can promise you.
Yep. I know that our mechanic at the course, when he works on all of our mowers and all of our equipment and all that, he uses, I don't know if I'm saying it wrong. It's either DeWalt or DeWalt. I'm not sure. I always say DeWalt. The yellow, I think it's DeWalt
DeWalt,
tools.
the yellow, yeah,
Yeah. I don't know if it's DeWalt or DeWalt. I don't know.
big
But
yellow,
he,
yeah,
he uses those, the yellow ones. Yeah. And he seems to like those. So I'm sure
yeah,
those are just fine as well.
yeah. So we got to talk EAA a little bit.
A little
And,
bit. Yeah, go for it.
before we get into your topic,
Uh,
just to recap for those that may have joined us or whatever, make sure you're commenting. We've got a lively chat out there, so keep participating because somebody out there will get the chance as long as you chime into that live chat to pick our topic at the
yeah.
toward the end of the show here.
There's
Um,
no hashtag, guys. There's nothing. You just got to say something.
yeah,
Anything.
and by the way, that powered the viewer driven topic powered by our friends over at Taurus, and we'll talk
Mhm.
about them later. But right now, yeah, EAA. So yeah, the MC14Ts are shipping,
Yep.
um, and there's also we're seeing along with that we're seeing some dealer exclusives, distributor exclusives
Distributor
from
exclusives.
EAA coming around too. Some really cool color schemes and finishes and other things. And there's been a little bit of a delay on the Witness 2311s, but make no mistake,
It's
those
coming.
are those are coming, and when they will hit like a Cat 5 hurricane, I promise, because
Well,
they will
what
be
I
a
love
smoking
about what
deal.
EAA does, and they announced the 2311, the Witness 2311 at SHOT Show, and they knew that it wasn't ready yet. I mean, they just announced. They didn't say, "Hey, it's available now." They knew it was going to be summertime. But what I love about them is, you know, they're going to make sure it's right, and they even little, tiny, minute, very little things that most people won't notice. If they notice something, they're going to make sure that everything's perfect. And so
Yeah.
when it do come out, they're going to be ready to go.
Well, and we can't give away the farm and tell a lot of insider secrets and other things, but I will say this: a lot of the delay with the Elite 2311
Yeah.
is the stupid regulations in the United States with the Department of Commerce and Department of State and the ATF. So there
Yeah.
you go. Big government is screwing up the
Government.
Witness 2311s for sure.
Absolutely.
So you're on deck, man.
Oh, I am on deck. So we're going to do something a little bit different tonight.
Actually, you're not on deck. You're in the box.
I'm in the box. Yeah, I am. I'm stepping in the batter's box, and I got the pitch. The pitch clock is running. So here's what I want to do tonight. A little sports ball talk, but I think it's going to be interesting. So what
That
we're
was
going
an
to
amazing segue.
Yes, it was. Yes,
And we don't know the topics either, by the way. So that was an amazing segue.
it was. You have it's not as good as it could have been, but if this was a baseball topic, it would have been amazing.
True, yeah. But it was still sports. But anyway,
It was still sports, and we'll take it. What we're going to do tonight is you and I are going to draft our all-time starting five lineup for NBA. Could be retired.
We're going to have the same lineup. I can almost promise you.
Well, we can't, because if we take one, that person's gone. Like, we can't.
So we're going to back and forth.
We're going to back and forth it. So, like, if you get the first pick for point guard.
Man.
And I'll pick this, and then I'll get the first one for shooting guard. Then you get the first pick, and then you get, and all that stuff. So, could be current, could be former players, all time starting five NBA. So I'll let you have the first pick. Let's go point guard first, and you can have the very first pick for point guard. And once that person's gone, I can't pick them.
Man, point guard. That's tough, man. Stockton.
Okay, you're going John Stockton. I'm writing this down so we can have it. I'm going to go Magic.
Solid.
Yep. Shooting guard. I'll get the first pick on shooting guard. I mean, I got to go MJ, right? Got to go MJ.
Right.
So I'm going to go MJ. So who's your shooting guard?
This is tough.
It is.
They're all tough though, right?
They are.
Let's see. You got Jordan. Man. And basically we're putting together as far as like their prime or whatever, right?
Yeah. Not currently.
Right.
I don't want Magic and MJ right now.
So if we pick somebody that's like 80 years old right now, or they're passed away, then obviously that doesn't matter.
Right. No. If
Um,
you want to
point
pick
guard.
George Mikan or Wilt Chamberlain or whoever, you can do that.
Yeah, well, I was thinking George Gervin actually.
I think he was pretty solid.
But
Nice man.
Oscar Robertson. Um, mm, man. Uh, let's go George Gervin.
You're going Gervin, the Iceman.
Let's go old. Let's go old school. Yeah. Let's go Iceman.
Yeah. All right. So you get first pick for small forward.
Small forward. Small forward. I'm going Pippen.
Oh, wow.
You got MJ, so I'm taking that away from you.
No, I understand. You're gonna have Pippen covering MJ. That could be solid.
Yeah.
I'm torn here. I'm torn. I am really torn right now. Pippen threw me for a loop. I didn't think about Pippen. I figured that the two small forwards that would go would be Bird and Kobe.
Well, again, had you not picked Jordan,
no, I get that. I get that. So I wasn't expecting to have the choice of Bird.
I would have liked Bird. Don't get me wrong, but
no, I get it.
I needed a defense.
No, I get it. I was not expecting to have Bird and Kobe. Both of them have golly. All right, Magic, great point guard, could score. MJ, pure scorer, not a great shooter. I need a shooter. He can shoot, but not like threes and all that. I don't have a 3-point shooter yet. So for that reason only, I gotta have an outside threat. So I'm going Larry Legend. I'm going Bird. Forward.
Solid.
I've got to get that 3-point threat because Magic and MJ can make them, but they're not threats. You know,
that's a lot. You got a lot of attitude on your team. I'm just saying. I don't know how well they will work together, but
I don't know. I don't know either. But I've got all of these guys are going to be alpha dogs.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Interesting so far through the first 6 picks. No current players have been chosen. Just saying.
Right.
So is it my turn for first? Did you have first pick of the small forward?
I had first. I had small forward. You had.
Okay, so I'm going to go power forward. I get first pick. Power forward. Oh man, there's so many good ones.
I know, right?
Like there's a part of me that wants to go Rodman for defense and rebounding. My God. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go Timmy Duncan. I'm going Tim Duncan.
Oh, that's solid.
That's what it is. He can do everything, and he doesn't. The reason why I say that is he's like a Rodman. He can score unlike Robin, but he doesn't need to be the spotlight. He doesn't need to be the focal point. He can get his through a lot of different ways. I'm going to go Duncan for power forward.
Man, that was solid.
I was thinking Karl Malone. I was thinking Robin, and all of a sudden Timmy popped up. I was like, oh, Timmy solid.
Yeah, Timmy solid. Man, and I want to go Carl. I want to, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
And I was like, oh, he's going to take Carl away from my Stockton. And I got to thinking.
Really thinking about it, man.
And I got to thinking, is there a better option? You know what? Because we know the Jazz did not hold up to the Bulls, right?
Correct, yeah.
But I've got Pippen.
You do have Pippen.
That's a major detraction from
Pippen can guard so far of my 4 guys.
Right.
Pippen can guard any of them.
Yeah. So I've got Pippen, so I'm putting the band back together. I'm going Malone.
Oh snap, you're going Carl. Oh Lord. MJ's a phenomenal defender. The way that my team is stacked up, I'm gonna have to outscore your ass. Because MJ in his prime could shut down, but MJ couldn't guard a 4. You know, he can guard a 1 or a 2. Pippen can he can guard 1 through 4. He might be undersized on Duncan, but he could guard him. Obviously, he could guard Magic, he could guard MJ, he could guard Bird. My God. Pippen was a game changer. I totally forgot about Pip. Because you don't need scoring either right now with Malone and Iceman. Yeah. Because Stockton's going to get the ball to whoever's open. So
Mm-hmm.
man,
Mm-hmm.
and Pippen is the game changer on defense right there for sure. All right, you get first choice in centers then.
Oh, that's tough, man. That's
It
so
is
tough.
so many great ones.
It's so tough, dude. Like, there's 10 that come to mind like immediately, and I'm like,
Yeah,
ah.
yeah.
You know what? I'm going old school. I'm going Wilt, baby. I'm going Wilt.
Ah, you son of a bitch.
There's still more good ones. You still got it, but
No.
I got to. I got to
Man,
take
this
Wilt.
is so tough. This is so tough. Like
Wilt
there's a
changed the
part of
game.
me, yeah, there's a part of me. Oh, he did. There's a part of me that wants to go Kareem here.
That's solid, dude. That's so
There's
solid.
there's a part of me that wants to go Shaq here
But
because
you
Shaq, I think, could physically dominate.
so that's what I was fixing to say. Not to help you out,
Yeah,
but Kareem was way up there in scoring.
yeah.
And I don't think you need scoring.
I don't need scoring.
You've also got Robinson. Don't forget. You can put the band back together.
Dave, I can put the band back together. Man, I tell you what, you know who I'm going to go with just because he can do it all.
Elijah one.
I'm going Akeem.
I know that.
I'm going Akeem.
I think that's solid. That's solid. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
And these are great. So all right, so Clover, your all time 5.
Stockton,
George Gervin, Pippen, Karl Malone, and Wilt. That's freaking solid.
Yeah.
I've got Magic, MJ, Bird, Duncan, and Akeem.
Also solid.
Also solid. Like that would be fun as hell to watch, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. Yeah.
And that is something that HVS out there says Shaq couldn't shoot free throws. As dominant as Shaq is, that has to play a role, doesn't it? I mean, it really does. It has to play a role.
Yeah.
I didn't think about Ewing. Ewing was good in his prime. Man, I could have gone Bill Russell and just gone defensive.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You know?
Well, you had Moses. You had Moses was up there.
Triple double one game. So I mean that how do you go away from Elijah one, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Now here's the thing. Does the game take place? All players are in their prime.
All players in the prime, yep.
Does the game take place modern? You know, what era does the game take place?
You mean like rules and all that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you got to, especially with the teams that we play, I think you got to go 90s style.
Late 80s,
you know,
through
late 80s, early 90s, where it was physical. They let them, you know, because no offense, this whole spread out and shooting 30 footers and all that, to me, I haven't watched NBA in a couple of years, and there's some great players now.
Yeah.
I love Steph Curry. I think that Jokic in Denver's phenomenal. I love Luka Doncic in Dallas, great player. There's some great players.
Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem.
I don't watch the game anymore.
The problem is you put old school defenders and they're shut down. Like, what does their threes matter?
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah. Yeah, I just can't watch today's style. I really can't. Now, the kids that are younger, that this is the style that they grew up with.
Yeah.
I get it. They wouldn't want to watch our style when games were 80 to 75, you know. Now they're 150 to 145.
Right.
And they're literally scoring double, you know. These guys are getting to like 70 points at like halftime sometimes. It's like, wow, like 70 points back in, you know, the early 90s with the Bulls and Pistons and Celtics and Lakers and all those, like 75 points might win a game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, oh, snap. Now, this could be fun. We're going to do this. Chase says, who's coaching your teams? Ooh, that's a solid one. I'm going to let you go first. But, man, that's a great – I never thought about that. But that is great idea right there. Who's coaching your team?
Dude, golly.
Right?
There's so many, man. Do you go Riley? Do you go Daly? Do you go
Phil Jackson,
Arbach. Do you go Jackson? Do you go
Casey
Wilkins?
Jones. Yeah,
Kerr. I mean,
absolutely.
in modern
Kerr's a
times.
phenomenal coach right now. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely.
Now, are we picking a coach?
To coach your team.
We're picking a coach in their prime as a coach, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Man, got a lot of old school. I've got a
Oh
couple.
man, they brought up Popovich. I forget about Pop. Pop's
yeah, I know. Man, you know what? I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna bring in new blood that is familiar with a lot of the players on my team in their prime.
Okay.
And that's Steve Kerr. I'm going Kerr.
Well, he played with a lot of these guys.
That's my point. My point.
No, I get it. Get it. No, that's a great one. That's a great one from the bleachers. Didn't see that one coming in from the cheap seats. That's a great one. Now I'm stuck. I'm stuck between Riley
or Jackson.
I'm thinking Riley or Chuck Daly, and here's why.
Ooh.
Riley, it was always great. He was a player's coach. He could always get. And you know what I mean by this. It takes a special skill for a coach to be able to coach a bunch of superstars or the egos that go along.
Right.
He was with the Lakers with Kareem and Magic and Worthy and Cooper and Byron Scott and all these guys, and he was able to get them to play as a team.
This is true.
So there's about that. And then you have Chuck Daly, who had the same thing. You had Isaiah Dumars, but he was all about that physical side of
Lambeer.
Lambeer. And
Lambeer was one of the hardest players to play with. Even his teammates would tell you that. So that makes sense. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think honestly, and then Chuck Daly was also the coach of the Dream Team. So he's been around all. I'm going to go with Chuck Daly. I know that might surprise some people. I think Chuck Daly can handle the egos. He plays a tough style of defense of basketball, and he's coached all of these guys in the Dream Team, or about that time frame.
Right.
I'm gonna go Chuck Daly's my coach, and you're going Steve Kerr. Man, this would be fun as hell, wouldn't it? This would be fun as hell that this actually happened. Wow.
Yeah. There's some simulators I think out there where you can do stuff like that. But and I think some of the new. I'm not a big gamer, but obviously, but I think some of the new sports games and stuff. At least I've seen some YouTube videos where people do dream teams and things like that and put them together and play.
Yeah.
And I don't play video games, but I always thought that would be cool to do.
Yeah. HVS says champagne is better than lame beer. That's pretty good.
Lame beer, I like it.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't think anybody likes it
because it's not the NBA anymore. It's the N3PA. Exactly.
Right.
It's all it is. I mean, at this point, now we'll say this: I love me some Stephen. I love Steph Curry. I love Steph.
Yeah.
Like I said, Jokic, and I'd say John Morant, if he ever plays again with all what's going on legally with him, that dude is one of the most freakish ones. We forgot one person, and I don't think he would be on either one of our teams. But if you want to just watch someone dynamic, Pistol Pete could have been an interesting.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, that thought crossed my mind.
Yep. Isaiah was once again left off.
Oh, there was so many, dude. Like so many. Hey, exactly. I wanna, here just real quick. I want to shift gears real quick to a conversation. We're talking basketball to a conversation we had privately, and I think it'd be interesting to get the audience reaction and stuff to this. And I'm gonna go WNBA.
Yeah.
Simply to say the conversation we had, the WNBA, let's face it, sucks. But we had a conversation. What if you move the 3-point line a foot closer and drop the net or drop the rim down?
You do everything a foot lower. So you drop the rim to 9 foot. You move the 3-point line in a foot, the free throw line in a foot.
Yep. Everything down a foot. Scale everything down a foot.
Now you're talking. I think that'd be more exciting. I think it would be awesome.
You've got the WNBA. You're going to get more dunks.
Yep.
Everything's going to be a little bit closer. The action, of
What
course,
if what if you made the court a little bit
well,
smaller?
that's what I'm saying. If you scale everything down a foot, it's a
Everything
foot
down a foot on
less
each
wide,
side.
a foot
Yeah.
less long. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna bring the action in. It's gonna close the paint down, right?
Yeah.
All of that is an issue, and I think that could make it exciting or make it fun. And the only reason that I think where we got into that when we were talking privately, talking about the WNBA and doing that was, um, I'm a big fan, and not much anymore, but years ago of arena football.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a similar situation with arena football where they crunch it down. There's no punting. Fourth down, you kick a field goal, or you try to
That's
kick
right.
a field goal, right?
That's right. Well, you go for
And
it
it's
too.
in play. It's in play. You kick a field goal, but there's a net, and it's in play when you kick a field goal. If it don't
Yeah.
go in, they can pick it up and run with it.
That's
And
right.
so the field is narrower. It's not as long, and I think that I think that would
Was
just
it like a 50-yard field or something like that?
yeah, I think so. I think it's
Something
something
like
like
that?
that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't remember exactly, but
So the
it was
longest field
just
that was a 50-yarder,
there was no out of bounds, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no running out of bounds. Like there's no
Yeah.
stopping the clock by
There's
running out
a
of bounds
hockey
and none of
wall
that
around
mess.
There's like a hockey wall around the Yeah.
From like the first kickoff to the final buzzer or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it was all going, and I think that same excitement could be brought to the WNBA. Now I don't know that helps a whole lot, but it couldn't hurt.
Yeah.
I mean,
It hurt.
imagine the WNBA dunk contest, right? Like
Yeah. Absolutely. No, it can't hurt at all. HVS says Shaq would still miss free throws.
it's tough for a tall dude to shoot free throws, though.
It is.
It really
It is.
is.
Yeah.
I think if he had used the glass more,
Yeah. Yeah.
and most people don't. Most people don't. And that you brought up Pistol Pete earlier. Pistol Pete used the glass a lot.
So did Duncan. Duncan
He was
used
the
it a lot.
master of using the glass, and
Yep.
I think if Shaq would have, I think if he would have used the glass more, he'd have been more consistent with it. That's just my thought. But at some point, when you're so tall and your arms are so long and you've got so much, he was just a beast from the day he was a kid. He's all freaking 7 foot, 2, 1, 2, all muscle. So he's got a lot of power when he's throwing the ball. And he just ain't built for free throws, unfortunately.
I want to go through these teams again, and I want to hear from the chat out there in the audience in replay and in podcast. Leave a comment. Clover's all-time starting five: Stockton at point, the Iceman George Gervin at shooting guard, Scottie Pippen at small forward, Karl Malone at power forward, and Wilt Chamberlain at center. My all-time team is at point guard. I got Magic Johnson. At shooting guard, I got MJ. Small forward, Larry Legend. Power forward, Timmy Duncan. And at center, Akeem Olajuwon. Sound out. Get your opinion. His coach is Steve Kerr. My coach will be Chuck Daly. I want to hear from you guys out there. Who do you think wins that game? Who do you think wins that game? And we're playing like late 80s, early 90s, style and rules where they could be a little more physical and all that. So they're going to let them play defense. They're going to let them get some rebounds. They're going to let them throw a bow if they need to clear some room. Yep. Let us know what you think. So yeah, that's I had fun with that one. I thought we'd have a good time with that. But we got to move on to the fun part. The fun part of this chat is the viewer random topic. So all you got to do is say anything out there in the chat, and you could be chosen. Clover's bringing up the random generator right now. And this segment is brought to you by our good friends over at Taurus. You guys are familiar with Taurus. Taurus, they've got a little bit of everything.
A little bit of problem right now.
They got a little bit of a problem with the G4. Was it G4X? I think it is. I think it was
G4X. Or the GX4. I don't
even
know.
GX4, whatever it's called. I don't know if it's G4 or GX4.
If you do have that one, then I recommend you jump over to their website or whatever and check out the service bulletin. I believe it's a voluntary recall, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is.
But go check that out, and they check your serial number and some other stuff just to make sure that you don't have one that potentially has a problem. We know, just to be fair, I mean, we know this happens all the time. They identify some kind of an issue, and whether that's an issue with certain parts manufacturer or just something slipped through the cracks or whatever the case may be, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a problem, but they try to head that off, before there is a problem. So you definitely want to check out that. But yeah, as far as their other stuff though, I don't hear any complaints.
No, we got the G3 really kind of put them back on the map on the semi-auto pistol side. Obviously, they've got the revolvers that have been out there for a long, long time. Very, very popular. As a matter of fact, I remember, and I still have it. I need to. I keep saying every year that's going to be the year I get a revolver. But a few years ago, I mean more than that now. But you and I were up at like 2:00 in the morning talking about buying a revolver. And a lot of tourists just come up because their revolvers are pretty solid. And if you hear people, you say, "Hey, what's a great first revolver to get?" A lot of the different tourist revolvers keep popping up. And I'll say this, that even the G3s and the G4s of their pistols have come a long way. And as far as the recall goes, I can respect what they're doing. It's a voluntary recall. A lot of companies are afraid to do that because they're going to wait until they're forced to do a recall. And that's not fair to the consumer, because until it is forced upon them, a lot of things can happen. I appreciate what Taurus is doing, getting out in front of it. They understand, hey, it's not a major problem, but we want to let everyone know that this is out there. And if you want to send it in, we'll take care of it and get everything fixed and all that. And instead of being forced to do that. So I appreciate that from them. So, yeah.
Yep. And don't forget, you've also got Rossi and Heritage in there. If you're looking for
this is true.
Good cheap fun, Heritage is the way to go. Are they the best? Oh, by no stretch of the imagination are they the best. But good cheap fun, you better believe it. So, thanks to Taurus, and let's draw this thing. What do you think?
Absolutely.
If your name does come up as quickly as you possibly can, anyway, let us know what your topic is going to be. What are we going to be talking about? RTAC and daughters.
Daughters. I have not seen RTAC say anything since early on. He might just be listening. He's out there. So if RTAC, if you're out there, you've got about a minute to give us a topic that you would like for us to discuss. And then if not, then we will redraw.
I was scrolling up to see if maybe he threw some type of a topic in there, because I don't have a problem, accepting that type of a situation. And then we don't have to wait. So, but if he doesn't, if he doesn't chime in here in about the next 20 seconds, we'll draw this sucker again, and we'll vamp on a random topic.
You're scrolling up. I'm looking at the live to make sure he's not saying anything. And as of right now, he has not said anything. I'm assuming he didn't put any topics up earlier on.
Yeah. So I didn't see. He came in. He said hi. We're going to draw again. Here we go.
Here we go.
I'm going to waste as little time as we possibly can here. Oh, G-Webs.
This could get interesting.
I haven't seen G-Webs chime in except for at the very top of the show.
He chimed in not too long ago. We were talking basketball. He says, "I have no idea what y'all are talking about."
He said, "When you asked for best center," he said Thompson Center.
Thompson Center.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
That's
a good one. That's a good one. So, G, if you're out there, go ahead and give us a topic. Knowing G, he's probably listening. He's probably working on 17 of his projects that he's got going.
Yeah. Can he get to the keyboard fast enough? We'll give him about another 30 seconds.
Taking puppies out for a walk too. So
it's a good time though. While we got a few seconds here, we're kind of waiting to see if G chimes in. To also say that there was something I was going to mention. The StreamYard, which I was telling you before the chat, it is weeding out the past winners, which is cool. So
because we, finally they did that. It's nice that they're finally doing that, to where we're not drawing the same person every time you push the button. So
we will roll it again. Hopefully it's somebody current. We will see. What are the odds that happens?
What are the odds of
The
that?
Ghost and Clover. So for the fourth time, we're going to draw. Fourth time is a charm. That's what they always say, or I think it's the third time actually. But come on. Oh, there we go. HVS, and he just commented a couple seconds ago. So
He did. He said something there. What did he say?
Give us a topic, HVS.
He threw one out.
He said something about bushcraft earlier. I don't know what he was talking about.
I don't know.
So we'll see. He'll chime in. He's been
HBS, throw us a topic out there, and we'll do it to the best of our abilities. I hope that we know anything about what the topic is. If not, it could get really interesting.
Right.
Chase, Clover has to convince everyone like LeBron is the GOAT, and GOAT has to tell everyone he's crazy and it's MJ.
Oh God, I don't know that I could do that.
There is no way that first of all, you wouldn't convince me that LeBron is the GOAT, but if I don't know.
There you go. Well, if
is the topic, so
if the thing about that is, at least I think, that if it's hard to say that LeBron is the GOAT if you didn't say Kareem was the GOAT, and I never heard anybody say really Kareem was the GOAT. But anyway, bushcraft.
Absolutely.
Here we go. Now,
I started getting into bushcraft. I've never really like big into it, but I started appreciating certain aspects of bushcraft for several years ago. And I'll tell you, one of the best channels out there is Fieldcraft Survival with Mike Glover. His bushcraft channel is pretty amazing. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in. Go ahead.
Well, MK Outdoor Journal, New York Prepper, even to an extent, does some of that stuff. I was just going to say, for those that may not know what bushcraft is, maybe, we just kind of nailed down kind of an explanation. And it's, in essence, it's survival skills, I guess.
Yeah, it's survival.
Basic way to put it. So, you want to talk about, I don't know, maybe most important aspects of that?
I think a lot of bushcraft and survival is learning how to survive outdoors. And so before you even dive into the deep side of prepping and surviving different things, I think you need to learn basic skills. I think you need to learn basic first aid. I think you need to learn basic how to start a fire. I think you need to be able to find a water source. I think you need to be able to figure out if you're having to go through something weird, where should you be looking to maybe set up camp? Find a high ground, or is it next to a river, or where finding a food source, whatever that is. The bushcrafting side of things is survival, but it takes specific skills to put them all together. But I think the biggest thing is honestly the necessities.
Right.
Finding water, finding food, and finding warmth.
And a lot of that has to do with understanding to some extent, being knowledgeable about the environment that you're in, that you need to survive in, right? Like your tactics, your techniques, your skill sets for surviving in cold weather climates is going to be different than warm weather climates. Dry weather climates is going to be different than wet weather climates, right? All that's going to be a little bit different. High altitude versus low altitude, right?
Correct. Yep.
You survive some type of what was that? The Argentinian soccer players or Brazil or whoever they were, had to trek the mountains and all. Pretty cool movie if you hadn't watched that, based on a true story. But knowing at least a little bit about different types of environment, not only the environments, I think a lot of people don't hit on the knowledge aspect of things too much. They'll get the tools, right? And they'll even learn the skills, like, I can make a shelter, and I can, do a fishing rig or set traps and do this other stuff. And it's like, if you don't understand various environments and how they affect the physiology of the human body, like, I think that's where you have to start.
I think, I agree. And as you're talking about learning the environment, I say anyone, but most people, given the time, could become let's say, proficient in the bushcrafting or survival skills in the area that they live. But what if you live in rural Arkansas in the hills, and I can figure out how to live around here and survive around here. But what if I'm on a family vacation? We're out in the middle of Arizona in the desert. Like, you need to maybe learn environments that you're not necessarily familiar with, because in a weird situation, you may have to move from where you're familiar to a different type of environment, a different type of landscape, and all of that. It sounds weird. Some of the things that we had to learn back in my day, it sounds crazy, but what bugs that you can eat, what bugs you cannot eat, what
plants,
poisonous or plants. More importantly, in that area, what is the dominant 2 or 3 predators? You need to know, is it a bear environment? Is it a snake environment? Is it alligators? It sounds bad, but that's going to help you set up. If you know what the dominant alpha predator in that area is, and then that way you have to figure out how to set up camp. You want to make sure that you're not positioning yourself with scents or whatever that's going to attract that alpha predator. It sounds crazy, but it's learning, alpha predators in those areas are something to think about too.
Right. And HVS out there, thanks for the topic, by the way, bro. He
Absolutely.
said most important thing is to get out and do it now, in all caps, before you need the skills to survive. And I mean, I've preached that a lot with, there's a lot of folks that live, I don't. But there's a lot of folks that live in the city. We talked about mowing, need to push a mower because all you got's a little bitty front yard and a little bitty backyard. But here's the thing: even if you live in that situation, being able to, anybody with a little bit of practice, which is what HVS is speaking to, can grow food.
Yeah.
But you may have to grow it in some pots on your back patio in the city or something. But the application is the same. Once you've grown some food in a pot, be that tomatoes or peppers or, squash or whatever.
Potatoes you grow some potatoes in an old coffee if you want to.
Yeah, but once you've done that, once you've grown some things, even, herbs and things are a little bit different. As far as growing those, a lot of people grow those in a windowsill, but at least that's something, right? So start with that and then graduate to, some type of a pot with some type of vegetable or something in it. And then, learn things like seasons. Again, it goes back to knowledge. So if you're talking about growing your food or whatever the case may be, know what climates and what seasons certain things grow and certain things don't. That sort of stuff. And with that particularly, I mean, especially heirloom seeds, I mean, if you keep them the right way, they'll last forever and ever and ever, and perpetually generate seeds to keep using. So, a lot of people when they get into their prepping gear and things like that, and I think we switched from bushcraft, but it's adjacent to prepping anyway.
No, absolutely.
But a lot of people
is a part of the overall bushcraft.
A lot of people forget seeds. Like, seeds are super cheap, and then especially good heirloom seeds are super cheap. And then again, kept the right way, will virtually last forever.
Yeah, HVS out there says you can't just watch YouTube videos, and I think you were alluding to that also. You can honestly, you can watch YouTube videos to get an idea of if you're brand new to this. And you want to learn the basics of what you need to start or where you need to start. Wow. Yes, you can definitely go watch some great videos. It's going to teach you a little bit, but the best thing you do is just get out and do it. I think what's lost is it sounds like you could introduce you and your family to bushcrafting without making it weird. Take your family to go camp out one night, even if it's in the backyard. And you don't allow yourself to have any of the normal appliances or anything like that. You're going to camp out as a family. You're going to build a campfire. You're going to go down to a pond and catch some fish or whatever, and you're going to cook it right there. You can make it fun, but also learning different skills.
Yeah, and I think that there's a benefit to mitigating shock and increasing morale
Mm.
if you are suddenly forced into a situation, and I agree with what HVS is saying, it needs to be practiced. And if you're comfortable with it, you're practiced enough, you're comfortable with it. That's the best scenario. But at
Yeah.
the very least, at least do something like that, whether it's camping, whether it's catching your own food, whether it's growing your own food, whether it's building your own shelter, what, at least do that stuff at least once, at
Sure.
least, so that there, at least you've mitigated the shock factor. If all of a sudden you have to do that, at least you know you have some frame of reference. Like, okay, I've done this before. I hadn't done it but once, but I have done it before, right?
Right.
And
Yep.
so you're not trying to figure things out as a complete newbie with absolutely no frame of reference. So a lot of people discount that, and they don't understand the value of just doing something, just doing it one time,
Mm.
and how valuable that can be. Because having absolutely zero, having 1% knowledge on something is
It's better than zero.
vastly better than nothing at all. Like, at
Yeah.
least you've got a starting point. At least you've got some type of frame of reference to build upon.
Absolutely. That's a great topic. HVS, appreciate it. Man, we had fun tonight. That was a fun one.
It
I
was.
know that you know, HVS brings up a good point, and it's not just bushcrafting, right? And I want to challenge everybody out there. Summertime's out there, so weather's gonna be better. It's be not gonna get as dark so quickly. A lot of things you can do, a lot of things you can add to your day that you normally wouldn't. I would say this: whatever it is, whether it's cooking or planting potatoes or learning how to fish or whatever it is, challenge yourself to learn a new skill this summer, so that by the time the fall and winter come around, you've learned something new that you never did before. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, how to change a tire, how to whatever it is, how to change the oil in your car, whatever it is. I challenge everyone out there to learn a new skill this summer, and so that we're always looking to improve what we can do in our lives and all that. I do want to give a quick shout out to Mandatory Carry out there with a $3 super chat. I appreciate you, brother. He says keep fighting. So I want to say that. Thank you to the Mandatory Carry. I want to thank everybody out there. Man, it was a great conversation. Great conversation going on in the live chat as well. Thank you to you guys being not just here, but participating in this weird dumpster fire that we call a podcast. But I hope everyone's having fun with this. We are. I'm going to speak for Clover because I know he is. We're having an absolute blast with this. It is nice to be able to just talk random stuff and have fun and sometimes challenge each other, because his interests are going to be different than mine interests, and mine are going to be a little different than his a lot of times. So, I like it. I like it. Thanks everyone for being out there. Thanks for everyone supporting me and Clover as always. Go support EAA and Taurus for sure. Clove, what you got coming up?
Man, I'm just cranking the produce videos out, waiting on some more events later in the year, and
Yep.
second season of my podcast. Unlike this one, unlike yours, I don't go year round to allow me some time to kind of catch up on review work and stuff like that. Probably will be dropping a Father's Day video here before too long, like a
There you
Father's
go.
Day gift video before too long. I'll put that teaser out because why not?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've got a video. We put a video out today. It was a kind of a fun one. There is a story behind why randomly I threw a Marine versus Air Force boot camp video out there. It wasn't because it was absolutely for a reason. I have a young man that works for me who today was his last day working for us. He's getting ready to go join the Air Force, and he's been asking me different things. I said, I can't tell you what Air Force boot camp is. It's probably pretty easy, but just joking with him. He's a good kid. He's going to do very, very well. And so I started doing some research for him, and I said, well, I'm doing that. I'm going to make this video. So it's out there. We do have a video dropping in the next couple days. I'm just getting the word. There is a new product launch coming from our good friends at Anderson, and we're just waiting for the okay. The video has been made. It is sitting there, and we're waiting for that. So be on the lookout for a fun video that's going to drop here in a couple days on a really cool product coming from our friends over at Anderson as well. For me,
Signed, sealed, and about to be delivered. Is what you're saying.
about to be delivered. We're just like the United States Postal Service. We just don't know when.
It'll get there eventually.
It'll get there. We just don't know when.
Right.
I tell you what, we got coming up. We can talk about that the next one because I don't think it's going to be. Yeah, I'll be before, but coming out here at the end of this month, or towards the end of the month, going to a concert with my wife and my daughter. And I know people are going to laugh at me. I don't care because I'm a big fan, but we're going to go see Matchbox 20. And I'm a big Rob Thomas and Matchbox 20 fan. So I'm looking forward to that later on this month. This could be like an outdoor amphitheater where you can kind of sit on the grass with a blanket and just enjoy good music. So looking forward to that as well. So yeah. Clove, you got anything you want to shut her down for us?
Dude, pull the plug.
Pull the plug. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you for the crowd out here that was live. It was phenomenal. Thank you guys for always supporting myself, for Clover. Go support our sponsors, EAA and Taurus. And guys, we'll see you on the next tour guide in 2 weeks from tonight at 8 Central. You guys take care and have a good one.